Hi guys, it's Defending Elvis Presley. Let's just see if we can get the angle right. Fans want the truth. Defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. We're in southwest UK. I'm 57 years old. My God, it's much sunnier than I was expecting today. I'm 57 years old and born in 1967. You think about it, 1967, hi Deborah. You think about it, 1967, Elvis was approaching the end of his movie career. I think the last movie he made, hi Team Elvis, the last movie Elvis made was in 69. So try and put yourself in Elvis's shoes. He was approaching the idea of the 68 comeback. It's when I watched the documentary. I'm going to walk a different way because there's a big lorry in the way. Hi, I watched the documentary about the making of the 68 comeback special. And, what was his name? Do you know what his name's gone out of my head? But he didn't want to do it. The guy who did the 68 comeback special didn't want to do it. And I think he was encouraged to do it. And what he said was, I won't decide on whether or not I'll make the 68 comeback special unless he meets Elvis. Now I think from what I watched on this documentary, yes, Steve Binder. From what I watched, thank you, Team Elvis. From what I watched on this documentary, Colonel Tom Parker wanted to do a Christmas special. Yeah? Let me just sort of, let's try and walk where there's not too many people. Hi, Colleen. He wanted to do, Colonel Tom Parker wanted to do the Christmas special. Christmas songs, of course. I think Steve Binder was approached to do it, but Steve Binder at the time had a reputation of being quite risque. Yeah, the type of what's the word for people like him? Are they producers? Whatever. What are they called? He was known being quite cool and doing things with quite people at the forefront. And I think Steve Binder looked at Elvis as being quite old hat, a sort of forgotten rock and roll star that had spent 10 years making these corny, cheesy movies that in the end had become, how can I say it, were not box office hits, were not making money. And now, you know, I'm always the first Elvis fan to say to you guys that I absolutely loved all the Elvis films. No matter how cheesy or corny they were, I loved all of them. Now I have my favourites. I've got a bit of a cold, guys. I'm a bit sneezy. So if I sneeze every now and then, you know why. But it's a beautiful sunny day here in the UK. It's only a mild cold, it's not bad. It's just making me feel a bit snivelly. So I love all the films. You know, I've always said to you guys, King Creole is my favourite. But I loved Jailhouse Rock is one of my favourite. And now as a child, I liked different ones. You know, I like Viva Las Vegas and It Happened at the World's Fair. They're the ones I liked as a kid. Roustabout. Roustabout was definitely one of my favourites as a kid. And so anyway, no matter what I say about how people talk about the Elvis movies, and they have a point, some of the storylines became quite simple and basic and laughed at. I still love them all because anything that makes Elvis, that shows me Elvis at his peak, looking healthy and slim and tanned and well-dressed and dancing and singing and chatting at the ladies and having fun on set, making these films, I love it all. So I'm not trying to ridicule or put down these movies, I won't do that. But from Steve Binder's point of view, he had become a has-been. And I think they chatted. Now I'm pretty sure in the Priscilla film, they chatted by the Hollywood signs, yeah? And when Steve Binder spoke to Elvis, I think something like, I'm trying to remember now from memory, Elvis said something like, "What do you think of my career?" And Steve Binder said, "It's in the toilet." Elvis cracked up laughing, and really that sealed their friendship. I've also seen an interview, a couple of interviews, saying that Elvis went back home, I think to Priscilla, could be wrong, and was demanding that he did want to make this 68 comeback special using Steve Binder, because he had a good feeling about it. So Elvis's instinct did kick in and say, this guy's the right person to make this. And songs, even part of the interview that I watched, now sorry guys, I'm not seeing your comments, so we're just gonna have to let me waffle. There's definitely no comments popping up, but I'm sure you're watching me. It's just a quick half an hour live, and then I am gonna, when I get home around 3:30, around 3:30, I'm gonna do a proper live stream on my laptop, on my PC, yeah? A proper one. This is just a quick walkabout. So part of, I'm just waffling a bit now, like the song If I Can Dream, that was specifically written for Elvis, wasn't it? And so we all love the 68 comeback special, don't we? There's so many different parts to it. We know about Susan Henning, was really Elvis's first proper affair after catching Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, in 1968. I think she was also in the film Love a Little, Live a Little, Love a Little. I get confused. And we've all seen the YouTube, quite sultry, quite a tease, video images of Priscilla, of Susan Henning and Elvis openly flirting at the rehearsals of the 68 comeback special. And it's pretty obvious that Elvis is taken by Susan Henning. She's a sexy girl. Wasn't she a topless mermaid or something? Was that in the film or was that in the 68 comeback special? And when we watch that, we know that Elvis had moved on and was being unfaithful and had his own different girlfriends, not just Susan Henning. And if you want to watch Susan Henning being interviewed on YouTube, she speaks extremely highly of Elvis, really describes him in a great way, how he is, what his personality was like, how he was affectionate and loving and very touchy and funny and fun to be with, and in a very happy, he was on set of the 68 comeback special, he was happy. I know that he'd been through this horrific trauma where he'd caught Priscilla being unfaithful with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, the guy who owned the dance studio. And we spoke about this yesterday, that she, on page 262, let's wait for the lorry to go past. Oh my God, you see that, guys? I thought it was gonna run me over then. So on page 262, Priscilla, in the book Elvis and Me, Priscilla clearly talks about, using the name Mark, clearly speaks about, she basically had become infatuated, maybe even fallen in love with someone called Mark, who actually was Stephen Peck. Some of you think that, oh, here we go, 1 second. Guys, it's all happening. I got nearly run over by a tractor, and then we got a speeding British police car, probably chasing the tractor. Oh, look, there's another one there. Something's happened. Anyway, as I was saying, I've lost my train of thought now. I wonder what's going to go past us next, like an aeroplane or something. Right, as I was saying, I've got the giggles now. Right. So I think we were talking about Susan Henning. I think we were talking about Steve Peck. Yes, Steve Peck. So obviously Elvis, just quickly backtracking a little bit. I think Elvis was quite naughty and unfaithful between 62 and 66, getting married in 66 in December. No, getting engaged. Then we have the marriage. We know that Frank Sinatra helped them at the Aladdin, lent him the aeroplane. Some of you call it a shotgun marriage that only lasted 8 minutes. I dispute that. I think it was much more than that, but I understand the ceremony may have. I still don't believe it though. I still think, nah, not 8 minutes. I don't believe it. I know it's been said and written again and again in different interviews and magazines and tabloids. I just don't believe it. That's just my opinion, guys. So we have the wedding, and then we've got the pregnancy. I think the pregnancy is quite a crucial time for Elvis. I think it really mattered to him. I'm pretty sure he was going off to the movie sets in his bus. Were they in LA? I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure which movie was being made in 1967. We could look that up. But he may have made 2 movies that year. It's possible he made 3. I can look it up. It's quite easy to look up. But my point is, they would get in this converted, was it a Greyhound bus? I don't know, just a converted bus. Elvis would like to drive to his movie sets, from what I've read, with the guys and the friends, some of the wives sometimes. And he didn't like flying, even though we know that he did go on to fly many times. But there was a period in his life where he didn't like flying. Right, let me just get past these people. So, let me just keep walking a minute. Right, so basically, let's try and jump back. So, we've got the pregnancy period. I think they say that almost to the day that Priscilla, after the wedding, 9 months after the wedding, had Lisa Marie Presley, which was a very proud moment, beamed around the world. In every country, every tabloid, every magazine, every TV news article. You know, we're talking about the most famous man in the world, the most beautiful man in the world. This is 1967. So, not at the peak of his career. His career had been waning, especially because of the cheesy movies. I actually, from what I've read, from 1960 to around 65, Elvis actually still really enjoyed making the movies. The Memphis Mafia, the boys would get together and it would be like a big holiday. Some great locations. But we know that he eventually got fed up. We don't really, to be honest with you, do we truly know why Elvis carried on making so many of these cheesy movies? We don't really know why. We can blame the Colonel. We can blame the contracts. Maybe the guys in the earlier years, you know, 61, 2, 3 and 4, were just having too much fun. It was an easy way to make money, not much effort. A bit of a gravy train, yeah? Now, Elvis did really enjoy it at first. He did. And if you watch the Memphis Mafia, they do say that Elvis at first loved making these movies, even the ones that were quite cheesy. But it's pretty obvious Elvis got sick of the movies. And there are interviews, Elvis chatting, in his own words, clearly describing that he had become embarrassed of these movies. Anyway, we'll go back to what I was saying about the pregnancy. So Elvis, I think, turned over a new leaf once Priscilla and him got married. And I think he did try and change. He did try and be faithful. He did. And then this out of the blue friendship happens. Now, one of the questions I've been asking is, with Steve Peck, the dance instructor that Priscilla Presley was seeing secretly while she was living with Elvis, I think, at Circle G Ranch, I think. I don't know which house they were in. But in the book, page 262, she does clearly say that she had strong feelings for Steve Peck. She couldn't stop thinking about him and that they had a brief affair. She says that Steve Peck made her feel things that she's never felt before and saw a different side to herself. Made her realise that she wanted to discover herself. Made her realise that she's missing out. Now, the other thing that Priscilla gives the impression of is that she was really unhappy and felt imprisoned. Now, this must have been in her mind, because Elvis bought her a car. She could come and go as she pleased. I really don't think she was imprisoned. Maybe in her mind. Who knows? We weren't there. These are all just opinions for entertainment purposes. Now, I think Elvis had calmed down. He had decided he was going to try and be loyal and faithful. And she has the affair with Steve Peck, which, come on, put yourself in his shoes, guys. You imagine if you were Elvis or any man. They're married. They've only been married for what? How long? 8, 9 months? Work it out, guys. They married on the 1st of May 1967. By around March of 68, she'd had the affair. So, it isn't long, is it? Less than a year after they got married, Elvis has discovered that she's having this affair, this secret affair. Of course, he blows his top, goes crazy, can't believe it. He cannot believe that it's happened, yeah? Just put yourself in his shoes, any man, yeah? Just after the baby is born, poor Lisa Marie Presley, who we all adore and we all defend. We also defend Lisa Marie as well as Elvis. Now, imagine if you were a fly on the wall, how angry and upset Elvis must have been. But we have to be fair. We have to ask ourselves the question, why did Priscilla have this affair with the dance instructor? My guess is that it was Elvis's idea for her to have dance lessons because she was bored. Now, the question I ask you guys is, did the affair happen during the pregnancy? Please comment on this. Did the affair happen during the pregnancy in 1968? Actually, also through the end of 1967. I really would like to know the answer of that. And this is where it's difficult with Priscilla, because I'm trying to be fair and see her point of view, but she never discusses it. She never discusses what led to the secret affair with the dance instructor that probably was paid by Elvis to give her lessons, that he actually owned the dance studio. Some people say it was Gregory Peck's son, but I don't think it is, guys. I think that's a mix-up. I don't think it is. Tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Now, were they friends? Let's talk about this. Were they friends? Was Priscilla and Steve Peck, were they friends during the pregnancy? Had they been having some kind of secret relationship during the pregnancy? Because what doesn't add up to me is this. The baby is born, I think February the 1st, 1968. The affair, we have been told, happened around 8 to 10 weeks after Lisa Marie was born. Now, that's not a very long period after the birth. Now, Elvis was there for the birth. We know that. If you go onto YouTube, one second, guys. If you go onto YouTube, yeah, or Google, you will find all the information that you need to learn about how Elvis prepared for the birth He even had a spare car just in case the one that he wanted to use would break down. Elvis was very, very excited about having a child, his first baby. Very excited. In fact, I would say probably one of the most important things in his life. He really got ready for it. He really took it seriously. He put a lot of time and effort and thought into the birth. Do you know what? There's another question I'm going to ask you guys. Did Elvis know if it was going to be a boy or a girl? I ask you that. Please put it in the comments. Do any of you know? Did Elvis know if it was going to be a boy or a girl? You know what? That intrigues me. I'm really interested to know the answer to that question. So this is what I'm saying about the secret affair with Steve Peck, the dance instructor. That obviously Lisa Marie, beautiful Lisa Marie, was born, and the whole world put it around. The whole world put it on every single news channel and magazine and tabloid around the world. The whole world was talking about it. Everyone was really happy for Lisa Marie being born and for Priscilla and Elvis. And at the time, we had all fallen for the fairy tale. We all had this, you know, it had been in all the magazines and tabloids. This lovely, beautiful marriage had gone around the world. We'd all seen the footage of the marriage. Even, thousands of pictures of them together all over the world. The most famous couple in the world, definitely. Definitely. I would say even more famous than Princess Diana, yeah? And Charles. So my point is this. We'd all, as the general public, not just Elvis fans, as the general public around the world, so tens of millions, we had all bought in to the romance of Elvis and Priscilla. We'd all bought into the fact that they met in Germany whilst Elvis was serving his country. And she was stunningly beautiful. Even though she was younger than him, they really looked good together. The pictures of them getting married were beautiful. Then we have them coming off the steps out of the hospital just when Lisa Marie had been born. The pictures were fantastic. They were beautiful. Elvis was a very, very proud father. Priscilla was extremely happy. Now some say, and this is where we're trying to get to the truth. We're trying to understand why Priscilla was unfaithful so soon. This is for entertainment purposes, guys. My opinion. Elvis fans' opinion. Some say that Priscilla never wanted a child, never wanted to get married. No, sorry, I'll rephrase that. She did want to get married, but she didn't want a child. Some say that she felt by having a child. Don't forget, she was around 22 now. In fact, she was 22. Some say that Priscilla having a child was a bit of a bind for her, a bit of a rock, a heavy rock, because she didn't feel that she could be a proper girlfriend, wife to Elvis, if she had a child. Because Elvis was old-fashioned. He felt a child's place was at home with the mother. One second, guys. Now, I've had many comments of you guys saying to me that she didn't want the pregnancy. I've even had comments from you guys saying that she tried to lose the baby, which I don't really like to speak about, to do with her horse riding. And we know that Elvis bought Priscilla a horse for her birthday in 1967. I forget his name. I know that Elvis's horse was called the Rising Sun, wasn't it? And that he created stables and called them the House of the Rising Sun. I'm trying to remember Priscilla's horse that she got bought for her birthday in 1967. You guys tell me. It was black, I think. There is video footage of Priscilla on her horse riding it. You got loads of footage of Elvis riding his horse and the black one. I know these horses were high quality show winners, weren't they? So Some of you say, let me just get past all the noise. Some of you say that Priscilla didn't want the baby and that this could have caused a disconnect in the relationship between Priscilla and Lisa. Some of you even say that Priscilla was jealous of Lisa Marie because Elvis was so close with her. I don't know if that's true, guys. I'm just repeating what you guys said to me. So the question I'm now asking is this. Why did Priscilla have the Steve Peck affair, relationship, call it what you want? When did it start? Did it start through the pregnancy? Now, from what it sounds to me, that once everything came out and it was found out, once Elvis found out that she had been secretly seeing Steve Peck, and this brief affair that she mentions in the book Elvis and Me on page 262, it does sound to me like it ended abruptly. So we've just spoken about, obviously Elvis would have just gone crazy, yeah? He was a very proud man. Now Elvis, from what I read, Elvis didn't want to be in a broken marriage. He didn't want Lisa Marie, who he adored, to be part of a divorced situation. Mother and father had broke up. He didn't want that. So from what I can see, now Priscilla has portrayed it that Elvis just said that he didn't want to sleep with a woman that had had a child. I don't believe it, guys. I don't believe that Elvis wouldn't sleep with a woman that had had a child, because he went on to sleep with other women that had had a child, including Susan Henning, and wasn't it Deborah Lee as well? And my point is, guys, I think once Elvis had discovered that Priscilla had been unfaithful with Steve Peck, I actually believe that was the true reason, the real reason why Elvis wouldn't sleep with her. And I believe, hello. So I believe, guys, I believe, this is just my opinion, that the real reason Elvis wouldn't sleep with Priscilla after Lisa Marie was born was because she had slept with someone else. This is just an opinion, guys. Now you think about it. Imagine any other man catching their wife 2 to 3 months after their child was born. Would that man then want to sleep with their wife? I don't think so. I think he'd be too angry and upset. Now, Elvis didn't want a divorce. He didn't want a broken marriage. He wanted mum and dad to be there for Lisa Marie, because he adored her. So I think for the next 2 years, approximately, that Elvis carried on as if nothing had happened. Even supposedly, I've read that they had a second honeymoon at Circle G Ranch, and they would attend many different functions together. This is how they met Tom Jones. This is how they met Muhammad Ali. They even went to the award ceremony together, where Elvis does that very famous speech, every dream I ever dreamed, yeah? And many other things. They were seen out and about. I'm talking now between 1968, 1969, 1970, even going to different karate exhibitions, even seeing Mike Stone in a karate exhibition, yeah? This is how she was introduced to Mike Stone, because they would watch his shows or his fights, because I think he won 42 fights. He's very, very successful champion, Mike Stone was. And we've all seen the recent interviews with Mike Stone clearly admitting that Priscilla made a beeline for him and fully intended to get with Mike Stone, even though he was married with a child on the way and a child. I think Mike Stone's wife was called Frances Stone. And there is an interview, a written interview, that you can find online, and she describes how Priscilla had befriended her, and they would go shopping together, they would go to karate tournaments together, she would even invite Priscilla round, Frances would, for dinner. So Frances had actually become a friend of Priscilla's. They were friends, but whilst this friendship was going on, the affair with Mike Stone and Priscilla was going on, was happening. And from what I know, Priscilla went out of her way and drove for, is it 45 minutes for each dance, sorry, not dance, for each karate lesson that she had with Mike Stone. And she was having as many as 3 or 4 a week. And she seduced, from what, this is just an opinion, from what I'm being told, she seduced Mike Stone and she chatted him up. Sorry, I keep sniveling like like a sniveler. So my point is, guys, let's think about 1968, 69 and 70. Let's try and see a bit from both Elvis and Priscilla's point of view. Now, from what I can tell, she obviously felt lonely, unloved. Elvis was being unfaithful, even though he had caught her being unfaithful, which probably prompted him maybe to get some, I don't know if revenge is the right word, but to make himself feel like a man again. Just moved on and met other women, because it wasn't just Susan Henning, was it? There was others. And I think you had a bit of a fake marriage for 68, 69, 70. And I honestly think that Priscilla was also hurt and lonely and unhappy, and had in her mind, had made up her mind she wanted out. I really believe that. I also think that Elvis knew that he was with a woman that was unhappy, that had been unfaithful, that had broken his heart. So Elvis is in a difficult situation because they've got beautiful Lisa Marie Presley, who he worships. She was the most important thing in his life. In this failed marriage that didn't even last a year, really. Let's face it, guys. They got married on May of 67. It was all over by 68 of March. So this failed marriage, fake marriage that went on for a few years. Priscilla had obviously made up her mind she wanted out. She was looking for a way out, and Mike Stone was her way out. She noticed him. I think she had met him backstage, backstage. I think Elvis really did look up to Mike Stone in the karate world. We know that Elvis absolutely loved the karate world. Yeah, it meant everything to him. I would say that karate was his second love, and he really was amazing at karate. Elvis was finely tuned karate black belt and really respected the people within the field of karate. Isn't this why he met Dave Hebler? I don't know, you tell me, guys. Who would go on to become his bodyguard and also partly help write the tell-all book with Red West and Sonny West, Elvis, What Happened. So, I'm still waffling, guys. So then you've got, how can I say it? So she makes a beeline for Mike Stone. You can watch the interview on YouTube. It's quite graphic. And when you listen to the interview with Mike Stone, I mean, he makes a lot of excuses. He clearly says she wanted him, that at first he wasn't interested, but she ground him down. And come on, she was a very stunning, beautiful woman, especially in 1971. Yeah, late 1970, early 71, she was stunning. Not many men will resist her, I will give him that. She was a very beautiful, sexy woman, almost irresistible to most men. Especially a man in his, I think he would have been, I'd actually know his age, but my guess is that late 20s, early 30s, yeah? He was a stallion of a man. He was an Adonis of a man. Not the best looking man, but he was an Adonis of a man. Very powerful. Do we feel that she was looking for a powerful man because she felt that she needed a powerful man to get away from Elvis? I ask you this question. Do you feel that she used Mike Stone to get away from Elvis? It's a great question, isn't it? I ask it again, please put it in the comments. Did she use Mike Stone to get away from Elvis? Really interested in the answer to that question. Let me just get past these people. It's so nice, sunny. It's so beautifully sunny, isn't it? It's like proper sunny today. Anyway, it's around, just so you know, it's around 1:30, 2 o'clock PM in the UK. I'm in southwest UK near Bristol. My name's Louis and we are defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. Please subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Anyway, I carry on waffling in the way that I do. So Priscilla decides to run off with Mike Stone after seeing him for a year secretly. It all comes out. It all comes out, doesn't it? Elvis finds out. Elvis goes crazy. We've heard the story that he wanted a hit on Mike Stone and he was demanding this happen, I think, with Sonny West, etc. Climbing up the walls. That's how they described Elvis. Climbing up the walls with anger. But when he calmed down, he just said the whole thing was stupid and to forget about it. Come on, Elvis doesn't have it in him to kill someone. He's a decent Christian man, well brought up. So then Elvis faces the humiliation of watching. Don't worry, your phone is still working. Your PC is still working. Did it all go black? I'm sure it did, yeah? So we've got this horrific situation where Mike Stone and Priscilla are parading themselves around, you know, the main locations where these celebrities eat and shop and fun fair, and with Lisa Marie in tow. So Priscilla's intentions have been fulfilled. The two families have broken up. Frances Stone has lost her husband. She's pregnant. They have a small child, I think was a daughter, I think. The same age as Lisa Marie. Elvis has lost Lisa Marie. He's lost his wife. And now Elvis is left there to pick up the pieces, but he has to watch Priscilla parade around, is it LA, California, on all the TV news clips, magazines, with Mike Stone, even kissing at restaurants. And Elvis has to face that, the humiliation. It was very humiliating for Elvis. I can't even imagine how horrible that was. So let's go back to the 68. So we're back to the 68 comeback special now, guys. Now you think Elvis now, his career is waning. He gets this opportunity to do the 68 comeback special. He meets Steve Binder. Steve Binder, after meeting Elvis, realized that Elvis still had this raw talent and that this could be a massive success. He didn't want it to be a Christmas special. And Elvis's gut reaction, his gut feeling was to trust Steve Binder, and the rest is history, guys. And within the mix, he carries on seeing Susan Henning, which I think was probably good for Elvis after what he'd been through with Priscilla and the affair with Steve Peck after the birth of Lisa Marie. And I think really Elvis's whole life in 1968 completely turned around, where it started off so well with the birth of Lisa Marie and then went so wrong with the affair of Priscilla. But then the 68 comeback special is in early stages of creation, and they bring Steve Binder along, who was a very cool guy. And then together, with Elvis's help and many other people, choreographers, writers, songwriters, just many, many things came together to make the 68 special that the whole world was talking about, that was supposedly a Christmas special. The most successful comeback, I think, in history. The most successful comeback in history. Oh, we got a bit of shade, guys. I'm just walking back to the house now, and come on, we love it. I mean, I love If I Can Dream. If I Can Dream, for me, it's just it is my all-time favorite Elvis song. And we know it was all written to do with, wasn't it something to do with Martin Luther King's assassination, or was it Bobby Kennedy's assassination? Wasn't it to do with that? Pretty sure it was, but I'm not definite. And this song meant everything to Elvis. It was really important to him. And when he rehearsed it, he knew it was special. Everyone knew it was special. That performance that he gave in his white suit, it's just, how can I put it into words? I think it's one of the best performances I've ever seen, ever, from any performer, ever, in history. That, him in his white suit, and we've seen the rehearsal footage of it on YouTube, but he really did nail it. He really did look his best, and the look in his eyes, you can look deep into his soul, can't you? Go back and watch it, guys. Go back and watch If I Can Dream. And I'm telling you guys, you can look into his soul, into it, through his eyes. And obviously the way he was dressed was like perfect, like just magnificent. I think that's the only word I can use. And I would say, not just iconic, I would say one of the most memorable performances ever that Elvis did. The most, I would say. Guys, my wife's ringing me. Take care, guys. Hope you've enjoyed my little chat on this walk. All the best. Love to all of you. Take care.